My beloved child, there are seasons in life that make your heart wonder why certain people arrive so gently, only to quietly disappear like morning mist, fading beneath the first light of dawn. You once believed that if a connection was truly sincere, it would remain forever. But not every bird I send is meant to build its nest within your life. Some souls are sent only to carry a brief ray of light, enough to illuminate the hidden corners you had never dared to face before. And once what needed to awaken within you has awakened, they continue on their own journey. This does not mean you have been abandoned. It simply means that I am guiding every step of your life with a hand far greater than what your eyes can see. I know there are nights when you sit in silence, remembering someone who once brought peace to your heart. You wonder what you did wrong for that presence to no longer remain. But listen to me with the deepest part of your soul. Not every separation is a punishment. Some departures are the way I expand your spirit so that you may learn to love without possessing, to remember without despair, and to keep walking without losing the light within yourself. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God. As it is written in Romans 8:28, even the moments when your heart trembles with disappointment, I am quietly turning them into seeds of wisdom and maturity. My child, not everyone who enters your life carries peace with them. Some arrive like a strong wind, stirring up the dust you thought had long settled. Some bring heartache, tears, and the painful realization of wounds you have tried to hide beneath a calm smile. Yet, even that, I do not allow without purpose. For many times, your soul only truly begins to seek me after the things you once clung to have been taken away. If you had never tasted emptiness, perhaps you would never have learned to long for my eternal presence. If everything had always unfolded according to your desires, perhaps you would never have bowed your head to pray with all your heart. Remember the story of the Samaritan woman at the well. Her life carried brokenness and the judgmental gaze of others. She had encountered many people and walked through many incomplete relationships. Yet none had truly satisfied the thirst within her soul. Until one day, beneath the burning midday sun, I sat beside the well and called her near, not with condemnation, but with a love that saw through every wound. I told her, "Whoever drinks the water I give them will never thirst again." In that very moment, the woman whom life had left, weary and worn, began to understand that what she lacked was not another human being to cling to, but the living water that comes from heaven itself. Do you see? My child, many people pass through your life only to lead you closer to the sacred well where I have been waiting for you all along. There may be times when you deeply miss someone who has walked away, but if they had remained forever, you might never have discovered the strength I placed within you. I do not want you to live completely dependent upon a finite hand while forgetting that it is I who truly holds your life. That is why, at times, I allow one door to close so that you will stop standing before what has already passed and begin lifting your eyes toward the future I am opening before you. Behold, I will do a new thing, now it shall spring forth. As written in Isaiah 43:19. Do not believe that everything leaving your life is a loss. Some things must depart so your soul can have room for something greater to enter. And there will come a day when you look back upon everything with wiser and more mature eyes. You will realize that some people were sent to teach you gentleness. Some helped you understand the value of faithfulness. Some taught you forgiveness. And some entered your life only to reveal that your heart needed healing before it could truly love in the right way. No encounter is ever completely meaningless while I remain present within the journey. Even the tears you once wished to forget, I have treasured like precious jewels within my hands. My beloved child, do not fear the changing seasons of life. Leaves must fall for a new season to begin. The sunset must close so that the dawn may rise. And sometimes, certain people must pass through your life like brief visitors, so that your heart may learn to seek what is eternal, rather than cling only to what is temporary. I have never stopped being beside you in any moment of your life. When others turned away, I remained there. When you felt forgotten, I still called your name with tenderness. When your heart grew confused amidst life's changes, I quietly continued leading you forward like a shepherd walking ahead of his flock. Do not allow pain to close your heart. Do not turn disappointment into a wall that prevents you from loving again. I did not create your heart to live in fear. I created it to know hope, to trust, and to open itself to the light. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. As written in Matthew 5-8, a heart that remains gentle, even after being wounded, is a beautiful miracle in my eyes. So today, instead of asking why they left, try asking me what you were meant to learn from that encounter. For sometimes, the most sacred part is not found in how long someone stayed, but in how your soul was transformed after they passed through your life. And then you will understand, every path I allow to cross yours carries a meaning far deeper than temporary emotions. No one passes through your life by accident. No moment exists outside of my loving plan. And through all those changes, I remain the one who never leaves you, my beloved child. There are times when someone turns away and leaves without giving you even a final word. And it is that silence that wounds your heart more deeply than rejection itself. I know that feeling. I see the nights when you lie awake, wondering where you went wrong, what you lacked, or why a connection that once warmed your heart could disappear so quickly. But today, I want you to stop seeing that departure as a cold door being slammed shut. What you call an ending is often only the turning of a page in the book I am writing with my eternal love and wisdom for your life. No silence within your journey is meaningless. Even the words left unspoken and the farewells left unfinished. I am still using all of them to create something good within your soul. You often believe that beautiful things must last forever to have meaning. But look at the first rains of the season. They do not remain in the sky forever. Yet those few brief drops awaken dry ground back to life. In the same way, there are people I send into your life for only a short season to awaken a part of your soul that has long been asleep. They may not stay long enough to walk the entire journey beside you, but their presence has already fulfilled what I intended through them. Some teach you how to open your heart again after years of being closed off. Some make you realize that you need healing. Some help you understand that your heart is still capable of love. And there are also those through whose leaving I teach you that true peace cannot be found in the hands of a limited human being, but in me, the one who never changes. It is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in man. As written in Psalm 118:8, I do not say this so that you will stop loving others. I simply want you to remember that if you build all your peace upon another person, then when they leave, your soul will easily collapse. But when you build the foundation of your life upon me, even the fiercest winds will not be able to pull you away from the light. For I am not the one who stays beside you, only in easy days. I am the one who remains when every other sound around you has fallen silent. There are lessons I cannot write upon your heart through peaceful days alone. There is growth that only appears after your heart has gone through collisions and pain. A cold glance, a misunderstanding, a long silence. These things may hurt you, yet they are also the instruments I use to soften the hardened places within you. My child, sometimes you ask me to transform your life without realizing that transformation often begins by shaking the very things you once believed would last forever. A seed must be buried in dark soil before it can begin to grow, and your soul is no different. There are seasons when I allow you to walk through emptiness so that your faith may grow deeper roots within me. Remember the story of Joseph. He once trusted his brothers, yet it was those closest to him who sold him away in silence and betrayal, perhaps during those lonely nights in a foreign land. Joseph also wondered why such things had happened to him. But do you see, my child, what seemed like loss eventually became the pathway leading him to the place I had prepared for him all along. Without the pit that day, there would have been no throne in the future. Without the painful separation, there would not have been a Joseph mature enough to save many people from famine. The same is true for you. Some doors closing today are quietly protecting you from places that do not belong to your destiny. So when you stand within the emptiness someone has left behind, do not rush to call it lack. That empty space may be the very place where I desire to fill you with my presence. For when every other voice begins to fade away, you can finally hear my voice, gently calling your name more clearly than before. Be still, and know that I am God. As written in Psalm 46:10, there are things that can only be heard when the soul stops chasing the noise of the world. And many times, it is separation itself that leads you back to the place of true peace. I do not want you to spend your life trapped in regret over those who have walked away. Do not turn memories into chains that keep you bound to the past. I am leading you forward. What I have prepared for you does not lie behind you, but on the road ahead. Perhaps today you do not yet understand the reason for everything. But one day, you will look back and realize that even the moments when your heart was broken were part of a greater healing taking place within you. Not a single tear has fallen from your eyes without me seeing it. Not a single pain have I left you to carry alone. So, my beloved child, stop blaming yourself for what is already past. Lift up your head and continue forward with gentleness, still living inside your heart. Do not let one separation make you lose faith in love. And do not let another person's silence cause you to doubt your worth. You are still loved. You are still chosen. And even now, within the emptiness you once mistook for loneliness, I am nearer to you than ever before. My beloved child, I know there are days when your heart feels empty as you look around and no longer see the people who once stood beside you. There were connections that once made you believe you would never be alone. And yet, time quietly carried them away like the wind at the end of a season. But do not be quick to think that I have forgotten you in those silent spaces. It is precisely when familiar voices begin to fade that I start drawing your soul closer to the deepest place of peace. For many times, you have grown so accustomed to finding support in people that you fail to recognize that I am still standing there, quietly waiting for you to return to me with all your heart. There are gifts I give you that exist only for a brief season, not because they are not precious, but because their purpose is not to remain forever. Some people come to help you understand what it means to be loved. Some appear to illuminate the parts of your soul you once forgot. But when what needed to be learned has been completed, I allow them to continue on their own path. My child, do not call that loss. See it as part of the sacred growth I am quietly working within you. The just shall live by faith. As written in Hebrews 10:38, that faith does not grow in the days when everything is full and complete, but is often formed in the emptiest spaces that seem the coldest. I am teaching you to stand firm, not because there will always be someone beside you to hold you up, but because your roots are growing deeper into me. A tree does not mature through days of calm skies and gentle winds, but by learning to hold fast to the earth when storms arise. In the same way, your soul is being strengthened through these very seasons of loneliness. Perhaps today you cannot yet see it, but there will come a time when you realize that the period that seemed empty was the very place where I built within you a steadfast inner life that the world cannot take away. Do not think that I only hear prayers filled with tears and intense emotion. I also see the moments when you remain silent and yet do not walk away from your faith. When you kneel, even though you see no sign of change. When you still choose kindness though it is not returned. When you continue to hope, even though before you there seems to be only a closed door. My beloved child, that is the kind of light that moves heaven. Blessed are they that have not seen, and yet have believed. As I said in John 20:29, there are seasons when I do not answer immediately, because I am drawing your faith beyond passing emotions, so that it may become a true foundation of stone. Remember the prophet Elijah in the cave. After days of exhaustion and loneliness, he longed to see me in the strong wind, in the earthquake, or in the great fire. But I was not in those loud and mighty things. I came through a gentle, quiet whisper. Do you see? Sometimes you keep searching for me in great things, in clear signs, or in the presence of other people. Yet I choose to meet you in the deepest silence of your soul. It is in the nights when only the yellow lamp and the sound of your sigh remain that I am sitting very near, gently healing the things you have never spoken aloud. I know there are times when you open your phone and then fall silent because no message appears. There are evenings when the room is so quiet that you can hear the sound of your own loneliness. But, my child, do not let that silence deceive you into believing that you are unloved. I have never taken my eyes off you for even a single moment. When the world temporarily withdraws its familiar noise, I am creating space for your heart to hear my voice more clearly. For if your heart is always filled with the presence of people, it will be difficult for you to recognize that I am trying to touch the deepest part of your soul. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. As written in Revelation 3:20, I do not force open the door of your heart with overwhelming power. I patiently wait for you to open it willingly, with trust and surrender. And many times, it is through separation itself that you hear the knocking you needed to awaken your soul, not to leave you in pain forever, but to lead you into a deeper and more mature place within me. I am teaching you to live by grace rather than depending upon the presence of any human being. So do not fear the days when you are alone. Do not rush to fill every empty space with noise, with constant distractions, or with temporary connections made only to escape the feeling of loneliness. There are sacred things that can only be born in silence. It is within that stillness that you will begin to understand that I am the only one who never changes. People may come and go. Human promises may fade with time, but my love for you has never wavered. And one day, when you look back, you will no longer call this season a time of abandonment. You will call it the season when I drew you closest to me. For in the very nights when you believed you were most lost, I was quietly teaching you how to walk by faith instead of feelings. I was opening your eyes to see that true peace is not found in how many people stand beside you, but in whether your soul remains near to me. And once you understand that, you will no longer fear loneliness, because you will know that even when everyone else leaves, I remain. My beloved child, I have never left you, not even for a single moment. Even when everything around you becomes so quiet that you feel as though you are walking alone, I am still there, gently watching over every breath you take. And surely I am with you always, even unto the end of the world. As written in the Gospel of Matthew, there are times when I allow the sky to become silent, not because I am distant, but because I am drawing you away from the distractions that keep your soul restless. If your heart is constantly surrounded by emotional noise, by the presence of people, and by the fear of losing what you cherish, it will be difficult for you to hear my voice whispering in the deepest places of your spirit. I know you have sometimes believed that silence meant abandonment. You looked at prayers that seemed unanswered, doors that remained closed, conversations that suddenly ended, and you wondered whether I was still listening. But my child, many times that very silence is where I am preparing something greater than you can imagine. A potter cannot shape a beautiful vessel if the clay never stops moving in chaos. In the same way, before I form something new within you, I must quiet the turmoil inside your heart. For only when your soul becomes still will you begin to realize that I am not merely the one who gives peace, I am the source of peace itself. There are seasons when I remove certain familiar things from your life, not to punish you, but to teach you how to cling to what is eternal. You often place your sense of security upon things that can change, a message, an embrace, a promise from another person. But when those things disappear, it feels as though the ground beneath your feet begins to shake as well. And in that very moment, I want you to understand that the true foundation of your life is not built upon people, but upon me, the one who never changes, Jesus Christ, the same yesterday, and today, and forever. As written in Hebrews 13:8, I do not want your faith to survive only during pleasant days. I want it to grow deep enough to remain standing, even through long nights when no answer seems to come. My beloved child, there will be moments when you look back at certain people who once passed through your life and wonder why they appeared only to leave so quickly. But trust me, no encounter is ever accidental. Some are sent to soothe your heart during a stormy season. Some come to reveal wounds you have hidden for so long. Some bring you happiness for a brief period, and then through their leaving, I open your eyes to show you that your soul needs something deeper than temporary emotions. You may think they merely crossed your path by chance, but in truth, I had already appointed both the moment of their arrival and the time of their departure, not to destroy you, but to awaken the hidden places within you that would never have been revealed otherwise. Remember the story of the two disciples on the road to Emmaus. After loss and confusion, they walked with heavy hearts, unable to recognize that I was already beside them. I listened to their disappointment, walked alongside them in silence, and slowly opened their eyes so they could understand that even what they believed was an ending was part of a far greater plan of redemption. Do you see? My child, there are moments when I am closest to you precisely when you believe you are most lost. I do not always reveal myself through dazzling miracles. Many times, I come through a slow and gentle peace, through a silence that allows your soul to begin seeing the truth more clearly. As your heart learns to rest within my presence, you will stop searching for your worth in the eyes of others. You will no longer fall into despair simply because someone has walked away. For you will understand that no one was created to become the savior of your soul except me. The people I send are only small bridges leading you closer to eternal light. And sometimes, those who confuse you the most are the very instruments I use to help you mature more quickly. A betrayal may teach you forgiveness. A distance may teach you surrender. A season of loneliness may teach you how to speak with me in a depth you had never known before. Behold, I will make rivers in high places and fountains in the midst of the valleys. As written in Isaiah 41:18, even the driest places within your heart can become filled with life through me. But first, you must stop fearing silence. Do not fill every empty space with the noise of the world simply because you are afraid to face yourself. For often, the very place where I most desire to heal you is the place you continually avoid. And through the people I bring into your life and later allow to leave, I am gently opening the door that leads you into that deeper place within your soul. So today, stop resenting the unfinished things of the past. Do not call every separation a failure. Some connections fulfill their purpose within only a brief season. What matters is not how long they remained, but how your soul was transformed through the encounter. I am teaching you a more mature kind of love, a love that does not cling, does not fall into despair, and does not lose itself when others walk away. And when you learn this, you will begin to see that even silence carries my tender presence within it. My beloved child, do not think that the people who pass through your life are merely random coincidences. I never allow one soul to touch another without carrying some deeper meaning within it. Some enter your life like a gentle rain that softens the dry ground inside your heart. Others are like a strong wind that shakes the things you once believed you had fully under control. And there are those who, through their silence or departure alone, cause you to confront the deepest corners within yourself. But my child, none of these things are meant to destroy you. I am using every encounter to open your eyes so that you may see your own soul more clearly. When someone makes you feel loved, you begin to understand the value of gentleness. But when someone hurts you, the hidden things within you also begin to surface. The fear of being abandoned, the desire to hold on too tightly, insecurity, or even anger you never realized was there before. You often focus only on the actions of others, while forgetting to ask yourself, what inside my own heart is being touched? And it is precisely there that I begin my work of healing. For many times, I do not only want to change the circumstances around you, I want to transform your heart. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. As written in Proverbs 3:5, I want you to stop seeing everything only through temporary emotions, and learn instead to see through the eyes of faith and spiritual maturity. There are nights when you blame me for allowing someone to enter your life only to leave too quickly. You wonder why I allowed your heart to feel deeply, if in the end you would still have to endure emptiness and longing. But what you do not yet see is this: within that very encounter, a part of your soul awakened. Perhaps before then, you had been living closed off, cautious, and no longer believing you were capable of truly loving again. Yet someone's presence softened your heart, taught you how to wait, how to hope, and how to care for another person beyond yourself. Even the pain you feel today is proof that your heart is still alive, still capable of feeling, and has not turned to stone in this cold world. I have never wasted a single encounter in your life. Every person I allow to appear carries a lesson your soul needs in that season. Some teach you what unconditional love looks like. Some help you understand that kindness does not mean allowing yourself to be wounded forever. Some teach you how to establish healthy boundaries. And some, through their very departure, teach you that you cannot keep everything in your hands forever. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. As written in Ecclesiastes 3:1, I appoint the time for every meeting and also the time for every farewell, not to drive you into despair, but so that your soul may mature through every different season of life. Remember the story of Peter. He once believed he was stronger and more faithful than all the others. Yet, only hours later, he denied me 3 times out of fear. I did not reject him because of that weakness. Instead, I used that very failure to reveal his true self to him so that he would no longer live in pride, but would learn to walk in grace and humility. Do you see? My child, sometimes I allow certain people or situations to appear not to immediately lift you higher, but to shine light upon the places within you that are still unhealed. And only once you see them clearly can you finally place them into my hands. My beloved child, do not fear the people who confuse you or cause you to think deeply. Not everyone who comes into your life is sent to remain forever. Some people are like mirrors. When you look at them, you begin to see things within yourself that you never recognized before. Some mirrors reflect the beauty within you, your gentleness, your compassion, your willingness to sacrifice, but other mirrors reveal your insecurities, your desire for control, or the old wounds that have not yet healed. And whether pleasant or painful, all of it is helping you move closer to the person I created you to become. As iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. As written in Proverbs 27:17, I use people to refine other people, not through perfection, but through friction, through forgiveness, and through learning how to love even when love is not returned in the way you hoped. Do not see these things as failures. They are part of the process through which I am creating depth within your soul. A heart that has never suffered will struggle to understand mercy. A person who has never felt forgotten will struggle to empathize with another's loneliness. And a soul that has never learned to let go will find it difficult to walk in true freedom. And there will come a time when you are no longer so afraid of separation. You will stop trying to hold tightly to everyone through fear and anxiety. But neither will you close your heart simply because you have been hurt before. Instead, you will learn to love with open hands, to cherish someone while they are present, yet also remain at peace when the time comes for them to leave. For you will understand that the value of an encounter is not measured by how long it lasted, but by how your soul was transformed because of it. And when you truly understand this, the prayers within your heart will begin to change. You will no longer keep asking, "Lord, why did that person come only to leave?" Instead, you will whisper to me with a more mature spirit, "Father, let me see what you are teaching me through this encounter." And from that very moment, you will step into a beautiful kind of freedom, a place where you no longer live in fear of loss, but in trust that every person I allow to pass through your life is helping shape something good within your soul. My beloved child, your life was never meant to remain still. It is a journey constantly moving under my gentle guidance, and along that journey, there will be souls whom I allow to walk beside you for only a short distance. They are like fellow travelers in a long night, walking with you through certain turns in the road, sharing a measure of light, and then quietly continuing along the path I have prepared for them. You often believe that if someone is truly important, they must remain forever. But not every gift is created to last a lifetime. Some beautiful things are given only to awaken your soul at the exact moment I know you need them most. When someone enters your life and causes your heart to bloom again, do not treat that as something small. Perhaps before then, you had lived for so long behind closed walls that even you no longer noticed it. Then I sent you a glance, a word, a kindness gentle enough to melt the ice around your heart. And in that moment, you understood what it felt like to be seen, to be heard, to truly exist within another person's heart. My child, those things are not accidental. I allowed that light to touch you to remind you that your soul is still alive, still capable of loving and feeling deeply in a world that can often seem cold. But when the appointed time has been fulfilled, I may also allow them to leave. Not because what was beautiful was false, nor because you were not worthy enough for them to stay. I simply see farther than what your eyes can see today. There are connections that, if stretched beyond their season, begin to lose their original purity. What once brought light can slowly become dependency. What once helped heal you can unintentionally keep you standing in a place where I never intended you to remain forever. And because I love you more deeply than you understand, I will not allow anything, not even something beautiful, to become a barrier to the growth of your soul. He hath made everything beautiful in his time. As written in Ecclesiastes, some people are most beautiful only when they appear in the exact season I appointed for them and leave once their purpose has been fulfilled. Human hearts naturally try to hold on to whatever brings happiness. But I am teaching you a more mature kind of love, a love that knows how to be grateful without possessing, how to cherish without imprisoning what has reached its time to depart. For if you keep clinging tightly to a door I am closing, your hands will not be free to receive the new season I am preparing ahead of you. Remember Abraham when I called him to leave the familiar land he once knew. If he had continued clinging to the old place out of fear of losing what was familiar, he would never have entered the greater promise I had prepared for him. The same is true for you. Some people are only called to walk with you for a certain part of the road. They were not removed from your life because they failed. They completed the assignment I entrusted to them. And now, I am preparing both you and them to step into new fields prepared for each of your journeys. I know your heart sometimes aches when it must let go, You look at the empty space someone left behind and wonder why something once so beautiful could not last a little longer. But, my beloved child, separation is not always loss. Many times, it is how I preserve the beauty of something before it becomes distorted by human stubbornness. Some flowers bloom beautifully for only a short season. If you try to keep them forever upon the branch, you yourself will watch them wither away. But if you learn to treasure that season of blooming and allow it to close at the right time, its fragrance will remain within the memory of your soul for a very long time. To everything there is a season, a time to plant, and a time to pluck up that which is planted. As written in Ecclesiastes, I am the one who appoints the timing for every season in your life, and I never remove anything without a loving purpose behind it. When I remove someone from your present journey, it is not because I desire for you to be lonely, but because I am freeing you from what no longer belongs in the place where I am leading you next. Some souls cannot walk beside you into the next season of growth, because their role belonged only to the earlier road. My beloved child, do not call those who left your life failures. Do not believe a connection only has value if it lasts forever. Some encounters are written by me like a short song, not long, yet powerful enough to transform the soul of the one who hears it. What matters is not how long they stayed, but what within you was awakened because of the encounter. Have you become gentler? Have you learned to love without so much fear? Have you come to understand me more deeply through those losses? Those are the things I look upon. And there will come a day when you no longer try to hold on to everything with tears and anxious fear. You will learn to open your heart like a wide field, ready to receive whatever I send into your life, yet peaceful enough to let go when that season comes to an end. You will understand that no one truly disappears from your life if they have already fulfilled what I desired to plant within your soul through them. Some remain through their presence. Some remain through the lessons they leave behind. And some, though they have gone far away, still leave behind a light strong enough to guide your growth for many years afterward. So today, instead of asking in pain why they did not stay, give thanks to me that they once came at all. For even the briefest encounters, when placed within my hands, can become seeds that change an entire life. My beloved child, there are moments when I see you standing for so long before a door that is already closed, still trying to listen for sounds that no longer echo there. You continue holding tightly to memories and to things that were once beautiful, as though letting go would mean losing a piece of your own heart. But listen to me gently today. You were not created to live forever in the hallway of the past. I did not call you to remain standing beside what has already ended. I am calling you to move forward toward the new light I am preparing for your life. When a hand slips away from yours, it is not always punishment. Sometimes I am freeing you from something that, if held on to too long, would no longer allow your soul enough freedom to receive what is new. A vessel already filled with old things leaves no room for fresh water to be poured in. In the same way, there are seasons when I must teach you to lay something down, not because it was entirely bad, but because it no longer belongs in the place where I am leading you next. You often believe that love means holding on tightly, but the mature love I desire to teach you also knows how to open its hands in peace. Behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it. As written in the book of Revelation, I have never closed one door without preparing another path for you. But many times, your eyes remain fixed upon what was lost, and so you fail to see what is waiting ahead. You grieve over something that left, while I am quietly arranging a new season far greater than anything you imagined before. Yet to enter that season, you must learn to trust me, even when you do not fully understand. True faith does not begin when everything becomes clear. True faith begins when you continue walking, even while the path ahead is still covered in mist. I know there are nights when you look at your own hands and cry silently. There was a time when you believed you had finally held something beautiful, a person, a dream, a connection that brought peace to your heart. But then everything slowly slipped through your fingers like sand, and you wondered why I allowed it to happen. But my beloved child, not everything that leaves your life is truly a loss. Some things I must remove from your hands so that you do not remain trapped inside an old version of yourself. For if you continue clinging tightly to what belonged to yesterday, you will no longer have the strength to receive what I have prepared for tomorrow. Remember the people of Israel when I led them out of Egypt. They cried out for the old land, even though it had once held them in chains. Sometimes people become so attached to what is familiar that they begin to fear freedom itself. But I did not rescue them merely so they could remain forever in the wilderness, longing for the past. I was leading them toward the promised land, and the same is true for you. Some things I remove from your life are not taken away because I desire your pain, but because I do not want you trapped in a place where your soul can no longer grow, forgetting those things which are behind, and reaching forth unto those things which are before. As written in Philippians 3:13, I am not asking you to erase every memory or deny the beauty of what once existed. I simply do not want the past to become the place where you build your home and remain forever. Memories may serve as lessons, but they were never meant to become the dwelling place of your soul. I am calling you forward lighter, freer, and deeper than before. When you begin learning how to let go with peace instead of despair, you will discover something very beautiful. Your heart will gradually become lighter and freer. You will stop trying to cling to the things I am gently removing from your hands. You will no longer panic whenever a season comes to an end, because you will know that I remain present through every transition of your life. Every time you release something at the right moment, your soul is being expanded to receive something greater. And then you will understand that maturity is not about keeping everything, but about knowing what to hold on to and what to place back into my hands. There are people who cannot walk with you into the next season not because they are bad, but because their role has already been fulfilled. There are dreams I do not allow to come to pass, not because I have ignored your prayers, but because I can see that what awaits you ahead is far greater than what you are asking for today. For my thoughts are not your thoughts. As written in Isaiah 55:8, I see the entire picture. While you often see only a very small part of your journey, my beloved child, there will come a day when you look back upon the things that once caused you the deepest pain and quietly thank me for them. For if I had not closed that door, you would never have stepped into something better. If I had not taken away what you once believed you could not live without, you would never have discovered that I am more than enough beyond everything you once held on to. Some empty spaces do not appear to make you lonely, but so that I may fill them with my own presence. And one day, you will no longer fear change. You will learn how to open your heart to each new season without carrying the burdens of the old one. You will stop asking, "Why did that leave?" and instead begin asking, "Father, what are you preparing for me ahead?" It is then that your soul will enter into a very deep peace, the peace of someone who knows that nothing truly meant for them can ever be taken away. What I have appointed for you will remain for its proper season, and what I remove, I also remove in love, to protect you for something greater that is still to come. My beloved child, I know there are moments when you stand silently in the middle of life, watching something slip from your hands while your heart feels as heavy as winter itself. You once believed that you had to hold tightly in order not to lose what mattered. You thought that if a person or a dream was important enough, you had to do everything possible to keep it from leaving. But today, I want you to understand something far gentler. Not everything that departs is being stolen from you. Some things I remove from your hands simply because I am preparing within you a space wide enough to receive something better. If your hands remain full of what belonged to yesterday, how will you open them to receive what I am sending tomorrow? A field must first be cleared of old roots before a new season of planting can begin. And your soul is no different. There are seasons when I must teach you how to let go, not because I desire your pain, but because I know what you are holding on to no longer belongs in the next part of your journey. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth, as written in the book of Isaiah. But to see that new thing, you must stop staring at the door that is already closed behind you. I know it is not easy. There are words left unsaid. There are farewells that arrived too quietly. There are people who once brought peace to your heart and then suddenly disappeared from your journey like a fading star in the depths of night. And you wonder why I allowed your heart to love if in the end you would still have to learn how to let go. But my beloved child, I never taught you to love so that you would live in fear of losing. I taught you to love so that your soul could become more open, more profound, and more like mine. Mature love is not a love that tries to keep everything forever, but a love that trusts that whatever truly belongs to you cannot be taken away outside of the timing I allow. Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. As written in Psalm 127:1, there are things you struggle to preserve through emotion alone, but I can see that their foundation is not strong enough to walk the entire journey with you. And because I love you more deeply than you understand, I will not allow you to place your entire future upon things that cannot endure forever. Sometimes what I remove from your life is not evil, it has simply completed its purpose within the present season. Remember the story of the people of Israel when I led them out of Egypt. They were afraid to leave the familiar place behind, even though it had once bound them in suffering. They longed for what was old because they could not yet see the promised land ahead of them. And you are often the same. There are times when I am leading you into a greater season of freedom, yet you grieve simply because your eyes are still fixed on what has passed away. You do not realize that the very act of letting go today is preparing the way for healing and growth tomorrow. I do not want you to live like someone standing forever at the harbor, clinging to a ship that has already sailed away. I want you to move forward with the confidence that I am still guiding the course of your life with perfect wisdom. There are doors I close in order to protect you from things that would slowly exhaust your soul if you continued walking through them. And there are also doors I have already opened that you are not yet peaceful enough to notice. A man's heart deviseth his way, but the Lord directeth his steps. As written in Proverbs 16:9, you do not need to understand everything immediately in order to continue trusting me. When you begin learning how to gently place the things of the past back into my hands, your heart will slowly become more peaceful. Not because you have become cold or unfeeling, and not because those things were never important, precisely because they were precious. You are able to surrender them to me with deep trust, and then you will begin to realize that every season that closes carries within it a quiet kind of release. You no longer have to exhaust yourself trying to hold on to what is already leaving. You no longer have to fear change, for you understand that the one guiding your life never makes mistakes. My beloved child, I see the empty spaces within your heart. I know there are moments when you look at your own hands and feel the ache of something that once rested there but is now gone. But hear me clearly today, that emptiness is not proof that you have been forgotten. It is the place where I am preparing to place something new, a new person, a new peace, a more mature version of yourself. For you cannot enter the next season while still carrying upon your shoulders the things that belonged only to the old one. There is a time to keep and a time to cast away. As written in Ecclesiastes, wisdom is not found in keeping everything, but in recognizing when it is time to let go in peace. And one day, you will look back upon the things that once caused you the deepest pain with gratitude in your eyes. You will understand that if I had not removed them from your life, you would never have stepped into the place I truly desired to lead you. So today, do not fear when a season comes to an end. Do not fear when a person leaves or when a dream changes direction. I am still here, guiding you step by step through every transition. And whatever truly belongs to the destiny I have prepared for you cannot be stolen away by time, distance, or silence. And whatever I remove with the most loving hands, so that I may return to you a soul that is freer, lighter, and more prepared for the greater things waiting ahead. My beloved child, I know there are seasons when your life feels as though it has gone through a painful clearing away. Things that once felt familiar begin disappearing. People who once stood beside you are no longer there. Even the emotions that once made you feel safe begin to change. And you wonder why I allow your heart to experience such emptiness. But my child, a farmer cannot sow new seeds into soil still crowded with dead roots from the previous season. Unless the ground is turned over and cleared, the new seed cannot take deep root and produce a fruitful harvest. In the same way, there are things I must gently remove from your life, not because I desire to take away your joy, but because I am preparing your soul for a new season that is broader, purer, and filled with greater life. I have never removed anything simply because I wanted you to suffer. My love is not like the unstable changes of the world. When I loosen something from your hands, it is because I can see what you cannot yet see. There are things that were blessings in one season, but if you continue holding on to them too long, they will slowly become burdens that keep your soul from moving forward. A garment that once fit perfectly yesterday may become too tight as you grow. And many relationships, habits, and ways of thinking are the same. They were necessary for the former journey, but they no longer belong where I am leading you next. Every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it, that it may bring forth more fruit, as written in the Gospel of John. Do you see? My child, even the branch already bearing fruit is still pruned, not because it is worthless, but because I desire for it to bear even greater fruit. Some things I remove from your life are not completely evil, but I know that if you continue holding on to them, you will never step into the greater maturity I have prepared for you. And because I love you, I will not allow you to remain forever in a season that has already ended. There have been times when you held on to something so tightly that it exhausted you. You tried to preserve a relationship, a hobby, or a dream that had already begun losing its life, simply because you feared the emptiness that would come after letting go. But my beloved child, some things become heavier the longer you hold on to them. What once brought you joy can slowly begin pulling you away from the peace I desire to give you. There are connections that begin beautifully, but once they move beyond the boundaries I intended for them, they no longer lead you toward the light. And in my mercy, I must intervene, not to punish you, but to rescue you from losing yourself in something that no longer carries life. Remember Job. He once stood among the ashes of his life, unable to understand why everything had been taken away so quickly. His family, his possessions, his health, all of it seemed to vanish from his hands within such a short time. Yet even in those darkest days, Job still declared, "Though he slay me, yet will I trust in him." And in the end, I restored to him far more than he had before. Not because I delight in human suffering, but because there are forms of glory that can only be born after a soul has passed through refinement. When he hath tried me, I shall come forth as gold. As written in Job 23:10. I tell you this so that you may understand. Sometimes today's loss is only preparation for tomorrow's abundance. Do not fear the empty spaces I am creating within your heart. I am not clearing things away in order to leave you abandoned and alone. I am clearing them to make room for something more heavenly to enter. For if your heart is already crowded with old fears, old anxieties, old memories, and old habits. How can I plant something new within you? A field must first be plowed before it can receive fresh seed, and your soul is now going through that very plowing. I know the process is not comfortable, but the ground that has been deeply turned over is often the very place where the richest harvest will grow. Sometimes what I desire to remove from you is not a person, but a way of thinking that has imprisoned you for far too long. Perhaps it is the fear of abandonment that causes you to control everything. Perhaps it is the habit of living in anxiety so constantly that you no longer know how to rest within my presence. Perhaps it is the bitterness you have continued carrying after an old wound. And at times, I allow certain events to happen simply so that you may finally see that your soul cannot continue living in the same way anymore. You are being prepared for something greater. And so I cannot allow you to carry the very things that would slow your steps. Let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doth so easily beset us. As written in Hebrews 12:1, there are things you must learn to set down before you can walk more lightly. And when you truly let go and trust, you will begin to feel a freedom that runs very deep, no longer exhausting yourself trying to hold on to what is already leaving, no longer trembling in fear whenever a season comes to an end. For you understand that the one leading your life never makes mistakes. My beloved child, I am not preparing a small future for you. I am opening before you a new season deeper, more peaceful, and more full of life than before. But to enter it, you must be willing to become lighter. You must accept that not everything which once walked beside you has been called to continue onward with you. And this does not make your life poorer. It makes your soul freer. So today, if I am removing something from your hands, do not quickly believe that I have forgotten you. Trust instead that I am working like a wise gardener. I am clearing the soil. I am pulling out old roots that no longer carry life. I am preparing the ground for new seeds to be planted. And there will come a day when you finally see that the emptiest season of your life was actually the place where I began creating the most beautiful harvest you would ever know. My beloved child, there will come a day when you look back upon the roads once covered in your tears, and you will understand that what ended was not what destroyed you. The seasons that seemed filled with the greatest loss were often the very places where I was quietly forming a new depth within your soul. You will realize that the departure of a person, the breaking of a dream, or the emptiness left behind after separation was never the end of your life. It was only a field freshly plowed in preparation for another season of planting. And when you stop trying to cling to what is old, you will begin to feel a gentle freedom slowly growing within your heart, a peace that can only come when the soul learns to trust me more than it clings to temporary things. I see the days when you try to appear steady before others, while inwardly you feel completely exhausted. I see the smiles you force so no one will notice that your heart is quietly breaking apart. I also hear the prayers that become trapped in your throat during the middle of the night when you feel as though no one truly understands you anymore. My beloved child, I have never turned my face away from your tears. The Lord is nigh unto them that are of a broken heart. As written in the book of Psalms, there are moments when you think I am silent because I am distant. But in truth, it is during your weakest moments that I am closer to you than ever before. You have asked me why I do not stop every pain from happening, why I allow your heart to walk through seasons of exhaustion and brokenness. But my child, if I only healed the surface without touching the root, that wound would eventually return in another form. I do not merely want to soothe your temporary emotions. I want to free your soul from the things that have imprisoned it for far too long, the fear of abandonment, the dependence upon human affection, the old wounds that were never truly named. And to do that, there are times when I must allow you to pass through a season in which every outer layer begins to crack apart. Except a corn of wheat fall into the ground and die. It abideth alone, but if it die, it bringeth forth much fruit. As written in the Gospel of John. Do you see? My child, even a seed must break open before new life can emerge. Brokenness is not always a sign of failure. Many times, it is the beginning of the sacred transformation I am performing within you. You see only the shattered pieces of your heart, while I see something new being formed, a soul that is deeper, humbler, gentler, and far stronger than before. Remember Jacob during the night he wrestled with me beside the river Jabbok. He entered that night filled with fear and old patterns of striving. But after that struggle, he emerged with a new name and a new identity. Though he walked with a limp afterward, his soul had become stronger than ever before. My beloved child, there are inner battles I do not prevent, because I know that after the darkness of that night, you will no longer remain the same person you once were. Some pain does not come to destroy you, but to change the destiny of your soul. Do you remember the olive? Precious oil cannot be released until the olive has first been crushed. It is beneath pressure and weight that the most valuable essence begins to flow out. And I also see within you treasures that easy comfort could never create. There is a mercy that can only be born after you yourself have suffered. There is compassion that only appears after loneliness has touched your life. There is faith that only matures after long seasons of walking forward without seeing any light, and yet continuing to trust me anyway. So, when you feel as though life is pressing you to your very limits, do not believe I have abandoned you. It may be that in this very season, the most beautiful part of you is being released. My strength is made perfect in weakness. As written in the second epistle to the Corinthians, you often think you must appear strong in order to be worthy of being used by me. But I am not searching for people who have never been broken. I seek hearts that know how to surrender, hearts that soften within my hands, hearts that know how to weep, how to pray, and how to trust even when there is nothing left to cling to, except me. For it is precisely in weakness that you stop relying upon your own strength and begin resting in my grace. My beloved child, there will come a day when you understand that I have never wasted a single one of your tears. Every time you thought you were collapsing, I was still holding your soul within the invisible hands of my love. Every night you felt alone, I was sitting beside you, quietly healing the places you could not reach on your own. And every crack within your heart today will become a place where my light shines through most clearly tomorrow. So do not fear this season of brokenness. Do not believe you are being destroyed. You are being remade. A deeper version of yourself is being born in the middle of what seems like ruin. And when you emerge from this season, you will not carry only survival within you. You will carry new oil, the oil of wisdom, compassion, mature faith, and a love that is no longer easily shaken by the changing winds of this world. My beloved child, I never promised that you would walk through this life without tasting pain. If I removed every storm from your path, your soul might remain forever immature, forever afraid of change, and never discover the strength I placed deep within you. But what I do promise you is this: no pain will ever become meaningless when it is placed within my hands. I will use even the things that caused you to cry through the night to lead you into a healing far deeper than anything you have ever understood. Not a healing that merely covers the surface, but a renewal reaching to the very roots of your heart. There are wounds you once wished you could forget as quickly as possible. But my child, I do not desire merely to restore you to who you were before. I desire to make you new, a person deeper after loss, gentler after pain, more humble after seasons of helplessness, and closer to me after nights when prayer was the only thing you could still hold on to. Therefore, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new. As written in the second epistle to the Corinthians, I am not simply repairing an old and weary soul. I am building within you a new foundation, stronger, purer, and filled with greater light. You often see brokenness as a sign of failure, but I see it as ground that has been opened so a deeper foundation may be laid. A tall house cannot stand upon land that has never been dug deeply, and I cannot lead you into greater things if your soul has not first gone through the process of being expanded. Some tears are not meant to destroy you, but to wash away the old things that have clung to your heart for far too long, the hidden fears, the unhealed wounds, the defenses that have made it difficult for you to love and trust. And there will come a day when you speak of your journey no longer with bitterness, but with a gentle gratitude in your eyes. You will look back upon the valleys you once crossed and realize that the true miracle was not that you never suffered, but that you suffered and still did not lose the light within you. Some people walk through hardship and become colder afterward, but I am creating something more beautiful within you, a heart that has passed through fire and yet still remains kind, a soul that understands pain but refuses to use it to wound others, and that is exceedingly precious in my sight. But the God of all grace, after that ye have suffered a while, make you perfect, establish, strengthen, settle you. As written in the first epistle of Peter, I will not leave you forever in seasons of pain, but neither will I rush you out of them before what must be formed within you has been completed. Many times, you ask me only to remove the storm, while I am using the storm itself to teach you how to stand firm in the midst of the waves. And in the end, what you receive will not merely be deliverance from circumstances, but a soul that has become far more mature. Remember David, before becoming the king who shepherded my people, he first walked through lonely fields, seasons of being hunted, and nights hidden away in caves. To human eyes, those experiences may have seemed unfair and painful, yet it was precisely in those seasons of testing that I formed within David courage, patience, and a heart that knew how to depend upon me. My beloved child, I am doing the same within you. There are precious qualities that cannot be created through ease alone. Patience is born when you are forced to wait. Faith matures when you continue walking even without seeing clearly ahead. And true gentleness is often born within hearts that have once been broken. Do not fear the storms within your life. A great tree does not mature inside a greenhouse, but out in the open field where it must learn to drive its roots deeper every time the wind rises. In the same way, your true strength is not formed during days when everything is easy. It is formed when you still choose love after being hurt, still choose hope after disappointment, and still choose to trust me even when you do not yet understand what I am doing. And not only so, but we glory in tribulations also, knowing that tribulation worketh patience, and patience, experience, and experience, hope. As written in the epistle to the Romans, do you see, my child, difficult seasons are not proof that I have forgotten you. Many times, they are evidence that I am driving the roots of your faith even deeper. For I am not merely preparing you for a few brief moments of happiness. I am preparing within you a soul strong enough to carry my light through a world filled with darkness. My beloved child, there will come a day when you no longer fear hardship the way you once did. Not because you have become hardened, but because you have learned that I am present in every storm. You will stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and begin asking instead, "Father, what are you creating within me through this season?" And from that very moment, pain will no longer remain only a burden. It will become the very place where new life begins to grow. And then you will realize that the most precious thing I give you after seasons of brokenness is not merely recovery. It is a heart capable of loving more deeply, a soul capable of greater compassion, and a faith no longer easily shaken by circumstances. My beloved child, Do not believe that the dark seasons of your life are signs that I have moved far away from you. Many times, it is in the wilderness that I cause the most beautiful things to bloom. Lilies do not need grand halls to display their beauty. They grow quietly in open fields, where no applause is heard except the whisper of the wind. And your soul is the same. The most precious qualities within you are not born during days when everything is easy, but during nights when you continue holding on to faith, even though you can no longer see the light ahead. Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. As written in the Gospel of Matthew, I want you to understand that sacred beauty does not grow through comfort, but through trust in the middle of dry seasons of the soul. True gold does not reveal its beauty while resting untouched beneath the earth. It must pass through fire so that every impurity may be burned away and the hidden brilliance within it may finally appear. Your faith is the same. If everything always unfolded exactly as you desired, you would never truly know what within you is genuine. There are seasons when I allow you to walk through long periods of waiting, through prayers that seem unanswered, through silences that leave your heart unsettled, not to exhaust you, but to separate what within you is only temporary emotion from what has truly been built upon the rock of trust in me. The trying of your faith worketh patience. As written in the Epistle of James, it is through testing that the roots of your soul are revealed. I do not look at your life the way the world does. The world measures a person's value through success, recognition, and outward victories. But I look at how you carry yourself when no one applauds you. I see you in moments when you are misunderstood and still choose calmness. I see you when your heart aches and yet you refuse to wound others in return. I hear the words you speak when no one stands beside you, and it is there that the true character of your soul is revealed. My beloved child, there are tests that do not happen before crowds, but in the silence between you and me. When every door seems closed, when no one notices your efforts, when your kindness is not returned, what will you choose then? Will you allow bitterness to take hold of you? Or will you still remain gentle? Will you allow pain to turn you cold? Or will you continue walking in compassion? In those very moments, heaven quietly looks upon your soul. Remember Daniel. He was not thrown into the lion's den because he had done evil, but because he remained faithful to me in a world that opposed him. What pleased me was not only that he prayed, but the posture of his spirit in the face of danger. He did not allow fear to make him betray his faith, nor did he use anger to fight against those who sought to harm him. He entered the trial with a peace that came from knowing, I still held all things in my hands. And that quiet faithfulness moved all of heaven. Do you see? My child, trials are not merely places for endurance. They are places where the true nature of your soul is made visible. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake. As written in the Gospel of Matthew, there will be times when you feel alone because you are trying to live rightly in a world that chooses what is easier. But do not let the coldness of others cause you to lose the light within yourself. I did not call you to reflect the darkness of the world. I called you to carry light into its darkest places. And light is seen most clearly when surrounded by night. My beloved child, hardship does not come to destroy you. It comes to strip away the layers you once used to hide yourself. When life is comfortable, you may believe yourself patient, kind, or humble, but only when you are offended and still choose gentleness. When you are wounded and still choose forgiveness. When you are forgotten and still refuse to lose your kindness, only then will you know whether those qualities have truly become part of your soul. I am not disappointed when you stumble. I know you are human, and you are learning day by day. What I look at is how you rise after every fall. Do you become softer or harder afterward? Do you learn compassion? Or do you hold on to bitterness? Do you continue seeking me in the darkness? Or walk away when things no longer feel easy? For a just man falleth 7 times, and riseth up again. As written in the book of Proverbs, the beauty of a soul is not found in never falling, but in still carrying light after every fall. There are roads you will walk that no one else will fully understand. There are inner battles no one sees except me. But it is precisely in those hidden places that true faith is being formed. Not the faith of beautiful words spoken outwardly, but the faith that continues loving through pain, continues hoping through delay, and continues praying through silence. And there will come a day when you look back upon those seasons of testing with gratitude in your eyes. You will understand that I did not lead you through fire to consume you, but to reveal the precious gold I had placed within your soul from the very beginning. You will realize that it was during your darkest days that your truest light began shining most clearly. My beloved child, do not tremble when you find yourself placed in difficult circumstances where everything seems to stand against the peace within your heart. Do not quickly believe that I have moved far away or turned my face from your sighs. It is precisely in those seasons that I am quietly carrying out the deepest work of a father, shaping you, purifying you, and revealing within you the qualities of heaven itself. Patience is not born when everyone treats you gently. Compassion does not grow before you have been wounded. Unconditional love is not proven during days when everything goes smoothly. These beautiful things often begin to bloom in the furnace, where your heart is tested and yet still chooses not to become bitter. I know there are times when you grow weary from trying to live rightly while no one seems to notice. You choose silence instead of harsh retaliation. Yet others mistake your gentleness for weakness. You choose forgiveness. Yet few understand the cost your heart has paid to do so. You strive to keep your soul pure, yet you are still misunderstood, judged, and overlooked. But my beloved child, you were never created to live only for the approval of human eyes. Thy Father which seeth in secret himself shall reward thee openly. As written in the Gospel of Matthew, I see every quiet choice you make. I see every moment you swallow words of pain in order to preserve peace. I see every time you suffer and still refuse to make others suffer in return. And I do not overlook a single one of those things. Remember Stephen, who stood beneath the stones thrown against him and still prayed for forgiveness for those harming him. He did not forgive because they were gentle with him. He did not forgive because they immediately realized their wrongdoing. He forgave because within him burned a light greater than the cruelty surrounding him. Lord, lay not this sin to their charge, that prayer was not the voice of weakness, but the strength of a soul softened by grace. Do you see, my child, when I truly live within you, the world may wound you, but it cannot force you to become like its bitterness. I am not asking you to forgive by pretending that wrong never happened. I am not asking you to act as though your wounds do not hurt, or as though those who hurt you bear no responsibility. Forgiveness is not erasing memory, nor is it reopening the door so that what is toxic may continue entering your life. Forgiveness is the moment when you place final judgment back into my hands so that your soul is no longer chained to anger and old pain. Be ye kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as God for Christ's sake hath forgiven you. As written in Ephesians 4:32, I desire for you to forgive, not because others are always worthy of it, but because you were never created to carry that burden forever upon your shoulders. My beloved child, when you hold on to pain for too long, that wound begins to speak for you, see for you, and decide for you. It causes you to distrust even those who have never harmed you. It causes you to close your heart to new blessings simply because you fear being hurt again. And because I love you, I do not want your past to become the ruler of your future. Forgiveness is the moment when you tell your own soul, what happened may have wounded me, but it will not define me forever. If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. as written in Romans 12:18. Notice this carefully. My child, I am not telling you to force yourself back into every relationship that has wounded you. There are times when wisdom requires boundaries, and kindness can still walk hand in hand with discernment. You may forgive and still keep distance. You may release bitterness without giving someone unrestricted access back into your life when they have not learned how to honor your heart. Forgiveness does not take away your dignity. It restores you to the freedom I intended for you. There will be days when I whisper softly to you in the silence, my child. Lay that burden down, not because your pain is small, but because you are too precious to continue dragging it behind you. You still have a long journey ahead. There are seasons of blessing waiting for you. People you are meant to love. Prayers you are meant to live out. And new lands I desire to lead you into. But you cannot travel far while carrying an old stone within your heart, casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you. As written in the first epistle of Peter, give me your anger, your disappointment, and even the questions that still have no answers. And then you will realize that forgiveness does not instantly erase memory, but it removes the power that memory once held over your heart. You may still remember, but you will no longer be torn apart by it. You may still look back, but you will no longer be dragged into the old darkness again. A wound placed within my hands will no longer remain a badge of pain, but will become soil where compassion begins to grow. From the very place where you were wounded, I can raise up deep mercy for other souls who are also hurting. So continue choosing goodness, even when no one understands. Continue choosing gentleness, even when the world tells you to harden yourself. Continue guarding the purity of your heart, even when others bring misunderstanding and injustice against you. I am watching you with eyes full of love. I do not only see what you are enduring, I see who you are becoming through it. And when you choose forgiveness, you are not losing. You are walking out of the prison that pain once built around your heart. My beloved child, allow grace to soften your heart without causing you to lose wisdom. Allow kindness to grow within you without turning you into someone without boundaries. Allow forgiveness to free you from the past so that you may walk forward lighter, brighter, and closer to me. For you were never called to carry your wounds as your identity. You were called to carry my light, even after seasons of pain and brokenness. My beloved child, there will come a day when you understand that forgiveness does not begin with the change of the person who hurt you, but with the quiet transformation taking place within your own heart. You do not forgive because they finally learned how to apologize, nor because everything was fully explained and resolved. You forgive because I am making your soul greater than the old wound. You forgive because you no longer wish to live forever inside the dark room of suspicion, defensiveness, and fear. You forgive because you are tired of carrying words that were never healed, tired of seeing the world through the glass of pain, tired of allowing the past to decide how you love in the present. I am not telling you to open your heart so that anyone may walk in and wound you again. I am teaching you to open your heart first so that I may enter more deeply. There are dark corners within you that you locked away long ago, places you have not allowed anyone to touch, perhaps not even yourself. But I do not come there to condemn you. I come like a gentle light slipping through a narrow opening, not breaking you, not forcing you, but patiently warming the places that once became cold. And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. As written in the Gospel of John, wherever my light enters, the chains of sorrow begin to fall away. You once believed that protecting yourself meant building walls so high that no one could enter anymore, never trusting again, never hoping again, never allowing your heart to feel deeply again. But those walls do not only keep others out, they also make it difficult for you to receive the healing I desire to give you. I do not want you to become naive toward pain, But neither do I want you to become a prisoner of constant self-protection. Wisdom knows how to establish boundaries. While fear builds a home inside isolation, I am teaching you how to discern the difference between the two. Remember Joseph when he stood before the brothers who had once sold him into slavery. He had every right to hold on to resentment. He had every right to recount each wound and use his authority to repay them for what he had suffered. But his heart had been transformed through the years of testing I allowed him to endure. And so he said, "Ye thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good." As written in Genesis 50:20. Do you see? My child, forgiveness does not deny that evil happened. It simply recognizes that evil does not have the authority to write the final chapter of your life. I am the one holding the pen. My beloved child, true freedom does not come when everyone finally understands you, apologizes to you, or repays what they owe you. True freedom comes when your soul is no longer controlled by what others have done to you, when you can remember without being crushed, when you can move forward without carrying bitterness like heavy luggage, when you stop repeating the old cycle of suspicion, withdrawal, and reactions shaped by old wounds. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty, as written in the second epistle to the Corinthians. And I desire for you to enter into that freedom, not partially, but completely. So let me enter the places you still hide. Let me touch the memories you do not wish to revisit. Let me heal not only the wound itself, but also the way that wound has taught you to see yourself and others. You do not need to pretend that everything has become perfect. You only need to place your hand within mine and say, "Father, I no longer want to remain bound by this." From that prayer, I will begin opening doors within you, not loudly, not hastily, but deeply and powerfully. And then you will realize that forgiveness does not remove justice. Forgiveness places justice into my hands. Forgiveness does not erase memory. Forgiveness removes the memory's power to rule over you. Forgiveness does not make you weak. Forgiveness reveals that the grace within you has become stronger than the wound that once caused you pain. And when you choose that path, you are not merely leaving the past behind. You are stepping into a new life where your heart can love without chains, where wisdom can exist without bitterness, and where you can remain open without losing your peace. My beloved child, I am standing right at the door of your heart, not to accuse you for hurting too long, but to call you out of that place. Open the door to me. Let my light enter, and you will see that freedom does not come because everyone else has changed. It comes because you have allowed me to transform you from within. My beloved child, now that you have arrived at this moment in your life, I know your soul has traveled a very long journey, a journey not measured by years or distance, but by the many times you quietly rose again after being broken. The nights you learned how to believe, even when no light could be seen ahead, and the seasons when you had to release the very things you once believed you could not survive without. No one has seen all the battles that took place within you except me. I saw every fracture within your heart, every moment you bit your lip to keep from crying, every time you felt lost within the long silence of life. But my beloved child, what you call an ending is often only the old structure being torn down so that I may build within you a foundation deeper and stronger than before. There was a time when you feared silence. You thought that if I did not answer immediately, it meant I had moved far away from you. You thought that if life did not move according to your expectations, perhaps your prayers had never truly been heard. But now your soul is beginning to understand something deeper. My silence is not distance. It is the place where I teach you to stop depending upon outward noise and to begin recognizing my presence from within. Be still and know that I am God. As written in the book of Psalms, some things can only be heard when your soul finally becomes quiet. You are entering a place very different from where you once stood. No longer the place where you lived according to the reactions of others, rejoicing when accepted and collapsing when forgotten. No longer the place where you chased outward signs in order to know whether I was still with you. I am leading you into a deeper awareness, a place where you no longer need to see every door opened before you trust that I am guiding you. You are beginning to learn how to walk in peace, even when the road ahead is not yet clear. And that is the sign of a mature faith. I know you have walked through seasons where everything around you seemed to collapse. Relationships changed. Things you once depended upon disappeared. Plans failed to unfold as you expected. But in the middle of all that dismantling, I was building something within you that no circumstance could ever take away, an inner life that is steady and unshakable. The kingdom of God is within you. As written in the Gospel of Luke, I am teaching you that true peace does not depend upon whether everything around you is perfect. It is born when your soul knows that it belongs to me. My beloved child, there will come a day when you look back upon this journey and realize that the most precious thing was not how quickly I changed your circumstances, but how deeply I changed you. You are no longer so easily swept away by the chaos of the world. You no longer need constant reassurance in order to feel valuable, and you no longer panic whenever a season comes to an end. Because deep within your soul, you have begun to know that I do not change. Let not your heart be troubled. As written in the Gospel of John, I did not say this because you would never again face hardship, but because you are now learning how to walk through hardship with a different soul than before. A soul refined through suffering yet still carrying light. A heart once broken yet now able to rest within me. A person who no longer seeks me only through miracles, but recognizes me even within the most ordinary breath of life. So today, do not fear silence anymore. Do not fear the quiet spaces between changing seasons. It is there that I am speaking to you more deeply than words ever could. And as you continue walking in this awareness, you will begin to realize that I have never left you for even a single moment. I am still here in your heart, within every breath, and in every quiet step you continue taking by faith. My beloved child, I did not create you to live hidden beneath the small shadows that fear has built around your mind. I did not breathe the breath of life into you so that you would merely survive from day to day, striving only enough to be accepted, or endlessly repeating old cycles of doubt and delay. Before the world had formed, I already thought of you. Before you drew your first breath, I placed within your soul a mark belonging to eternity itself, a light that darkness cannot consume. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. As written in the book of Jeremiah, you are not a soul accidentally drifting through this vast world. You have been called by name. There are moments when you look at yourself through weary eyes and begin believing you are too ordinary to be used by me. You see your failures, your stumbles, the seasons of your life that seemed lost, and you wonder whether you still hold value within my plan. But, my beloved child, I have never chosen people because of their perfection. I look for willingness. I search for a heart that still responds to my voice in the midst of the noise of the world. Some appear strong outwardly, yet their hearts remain closed. Some are gifted, yet unwilling to be transformed. But you, even after being broken, still return to seek me. And that alone causes heaven to take notice. I know there were times when you were afraid to step outside what felt familiar. Your comfort zone gave you the feeling that at least something remained under your control. But my child, a seed will never become a mighty tree if it remains forever hidden inside its old shell. I am calling you beyond the limits that fear has built around you, not to lead you astray, but to help you discover the person I placed within you from the very beginning. For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, and of love, and of a sound mind. As written in the second epistle to Timothy, fear is not my voice. I am leading you into the freedom of a soul that knows to whom it belongs. My beloved child, nothing within your journey has been wasted. The times you fell, the doors that once closed before you, the people who entered your life and then departed, even the nights when you believed you had completely lost your way, all of it is being woven together by my hands into a story far more meaningful than your eyes can presently see. You think some chapters of your life were mistakes, but I see them as necessary roads leading you to this very place, the place where you begin to understand that your past is no longer a chain binding you, but evidence that I have faithfully carried you through every storm. Remember Moses. He once believed his life had become nothing more than quiet days, tending sheep in the wilderness after failure and exile. Yet it was precisely in that desert that I called his name from the burning bush that was never consumed. I did not call Moses while he stood in the palace surrounded by power and honor. I called him when he felt small and believed he had nothing left to prove. Do you see? My child, my calling often comes in the places you consider barren and forgotten. For I am not searching for outward brilliance. I am searching for a soul willing to say, Lord, here am I, use me. You once believed you had to accomplish something extraordinary in order to prove your worth. But what is truly great, in my eyes, is not being admired by the world. What is great is when you agree to walk in the purpose for which I created you. You do not need to pretend to be stronger than you truly are. You do not need to live merely to satisfy the expectations of others. You do not need to chase standards that slowly drain the life from your soul. Obedience to me is not a chain that imprisons you. It is the doorway leading you into the truest version of yourself. My yoke is easy, and my burden is light. As written in the Gospel of Matthew, when you live against the design I created within you, your soul will always remain exhausted. But when you step into the place I prepared for you, a very deep peace will begin to rise within you, not because every hardship disappears, but because you no longer need to force yourself to become someone else. You begin to live honestly, to love honestly, to believe honestly, and in that authenticity, my light within you will naturally shine forth. My beloved child, I did not call you to become a copy of anyone else. I did not create you to live a colorless life hidden within the crowd. I placed within you a unique melody inside the great symphony of creation. And when you walk within my calling, you no longer need to compete in order to prove your worth. For you understand that your value does not come from the recognition of others, but from the fact that I chose you before the foundation of the world. Perhaps today, you still cannot fully see all that I am preparing for you, but I want you to stop doubting the light I have already placed within you. Do not allow the weary voices around you to make you forget who you are. You were not created to shrink back in fear. You were created to carry light into the darkest places, not through pride, but through love. Not by trying to prove yourself greater than others, but by faithfully becoming who I called you to be. And there will come a day when you look back upon your entire journey, the pain, the brokenness, the silences that once seemed meaningless, and you will weep with gratitude. For you will realize that none of those things destroyed you. They were only stripping away every false layer so that your true soul could finally emerge. A soul no longer living merely to be accepted, but living to reflect my image in this world. My beloved child, I know there are days when you look at the vast world around you and feel very small, like a whisper lost among countless loud voices. You see others who seem stronger, more remarkable, more noticed than you, and you wonder whether your quiet presence truly matters at all. But my child, light has never been measured by its size. Even a small lamp in the middle of darkness causes the night to retreat. What I seek within you is not perfection that impresses the world. I seek faithfulness, a heart that continues loving, continues trusting, and continues carrying light even when no one else notices. Ye are the light of the world. As written in the Gospel of Matthew, I did not speak those words only to people of great position or to souls known by many. I spoke them to those willing to let my light shine through their everyday lives in the smallest acts of love. A gentle word spoken to someone drowning in despair. An embrace offered to someone who believes they have been forgotten. A moment when you choose forgiveness instead of revenge. A moment when you listen instead of judging. You do not realize how such simple acts may rescue another soul from the edge of darkness. For I often accomplish my greatest works through the very things the world considers ordinary. My beloved child, do not measure the value of your life by the noise of outward results. A great tree does not grow in a single night. A river does not carve out deep valleys with only one passing stream. The things that truly endure are always built quietly. And that is how I am working within you as well. There are days when you believe you are changing nothing at all. Yet every time you choose love instead of bitterness, honesty instead of pretense, hope instead of despair, heaven sees it. He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. As written in the Gospel of Luke, I do not overlook the small things you do with a sincere heart. Remember the young boy who brought 5 loaves and 2 fish into the crowd that day. What he carried seemed far too little in the eyes of the world. Yet, when he placed those small things into my hands, they became a miracle that fed thousands. Do you see? My child, I do not require you to possess everything. I only ask that you willingly offer me what you already have, even if it feels small, fragile, or incomplete. In my hands, your faithfulness will always become greater than you imagined. There are times when you think the purpose I have for your life is too heavy, as though you must become someone extraordinary before you are worthy of my calling. But my beloved child, my calling does not come as chains. It comes as an invitation of love. I do not force you forward. I gently call you, for true love never coerces. It waits for a willing response. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. As written in the book of Revelation, I do not invade your life through pressure. I wait for you to open your heart and trust. And when you say yes to me, you are not stepping into a life without freedom. On the contrary, you are entering the deepest freedom your soul has ever longed for. For nothing will make you more whole than living according to the reason for which I created you. You no longer need to strive to become a copy of someone else. You no longer need to wear the mask of strength merely to be accepted. You no longer need to chase the expectations of the world until you forget who you truly are. In me, you are finally allowed to rest and become the truest version of yourself. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly. As written in the Gospel of John, that abundant life is not merely about outward blessings. It is the feeling that your soul has finally come into harmony with what I wrote for your life from the very beginning. And when that happens, you will no longer feel lost in this world, for you will understand that you have not been forgotten. You are being led, my beloved child. There will come a day when you realize that the seemingly small things you did with genuine love carried a deeper impact than all the loud displays of the world. Someone continued living because you were gentle with them at the right moment. Someone rediscovered hope because you refused to turn away from their pain. Someone saw my light through the way you kept your heart soft in a world that had become cold. You do not need to change the whole world in a single day. You only need to remain faithful to the portion I have entrusted to you today. And then your soul will begin to understand that what I have called you to do is not meant to drain the life from you, but to make you truly alive. Every step you take in truth causes heaven to rejoice. Every time you choose love instead of selfishness, the light within you grows a little brighter. And gradually, you will no longer feel like someone desperately searching for the way. You will realize that I am using your very life to guide other souls, not through perfection, but through the gentle light of a heart that has learned how to walk with me. My beloved child, there will be seasons when you begin changing so deeply that the people who were once familiar with the old version of you no longer know how to see you. They will be surprised that you no longer react the same way. No longer chase the things that once held you captive. No longer allow fear to guide every decision. Some will ask why you have become quieter. Some will think you have grown distant. Some will try to pull you back into the old place, the place that felt more predictable, easier to control, and safer for them to understand. But my beloved child, do not return simply because others do not yet understand the journey I am unfolding within you. There are doors I will open that not everyone is prepared to walk through beside you. That does not make them evil, nor does it make you wrong. Every soul has its own appointed time for awakening and growth. Some remain attached to familiar places, to the comfort of old ways, to the fear of change, and you do not need to argue in order to prove the path you are walking. No man, having put his hand to the plow and looking back, is fit for the kingdom of God. As written in the Gospel of Luke, I am teaching you to walk through inward clarity, not through the approval of crowds. Ye are a chosen generation. As written in the first epistle of Peter, you are not a wandering soul trying to discover meaning within this chaotic world. You were sent here carrying a distinct mark upon your life, and what I placed within you was not merely meant to help you survive, but to allow my light through you to touch the lives of others, not through a perfection that overwhelms people, but through an authenticity that makes others feel understood, loved, and able to hope again. My beloved child, there was once a time when you believed purpose was something hidden far away. You thought you needed to accomplish something extraordinary in order to prove that your life carried meaning. But true purpose does not begin with outward greatness. It begins when your soul comes into harmony with me, when you live honestly according to what I created you to become, when you love without pretense, when you walk by the light within rather than by the fear outside. It is then that your life itself becomes a testimony more powerful than any sermon. I want you to pause for a moment within this stillness, not to turn backward, and not to doubt the journey you have already walked. I want you to listen more deeply. There is a sacred movement unfolding within you right now, not loud in the way the world imagines transformation to be, but powerful like a quiet river, slowly changing the course of the land itself. You are beginning to return to the original nature I placed within your soul from the beginning, before pain caused you to forget who you were, before fear convinced you to dim your own light. Perhaps you do not yet fully understand what is happening within you at this moment. You simply sense that you no longer fit within the old version of yourself. The things that once fascinated you no longer hold your heart the same way. Shallow conversations leave your soul exhausted. Places that once felt safe now feel too small for who you are becoming. Do not fear this. It is not a sign that you are losing your way. It is a sign that your soul is awakening. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. As written in the epistle to the Romans, I am renewing the way you think, the way you love, and the way you see life itself. And that renewal will make it impossible for you to continue living as you once did. Not because you are better than others, but because you have begun hearing a deeper calling within yourself. My beloved child, when your soul stands firmly within my light, you will no longer live merely to prove your worth. You will stop chasing validation. Praise will no longer carry you too high, and criticism will no longer drag you down, for you will know to whom you belong. And that peace itself will become a quiet strength through which others begin sensing my presence in your life. There will be people who do not understand the changes taking place within you. Some will think you have changed too much, but do not fear. A seed must first break open before it can begin to grow, and you are entering that very process now. I am not calling you back into a smaller version of yourself simply to make others more comfortable. I am calling you to continue walking in the light, even if it means leaving behind places that no longer fit your soul. My beloved child, this new chapter will not be written through empty promises. It will be written through your very life, through the way you love, the way you forgive, the way you continue carrying light through darkness, the way you rise again after seasons of brokenness without losing your gentleness. And one day, you will look back upon your entire journey and understand that everything I allowed to happen was leading you here, to the place where you no longer merely search for purpose, but where your life itself has become part of my eternal purpose for this world. My beloved child, I see that you are very different now from who you once were, not because you no longer feel pain, but because pain no longer has the authority to define your soul. There was once a time when you trembled before loss, when you became confused each time someone walked away, when you believed your worth disappeared, together with the things you could not keep. But now, after all the seasons of breaking, something within you has changed at the deepest roots. You no longer walk like a soul, constantly afraid of being left behind. You have passed through darkness long enough that your eyes have learned how to recognize light even in the deepest night. I know that journey was not easy. You did not become strong overnight. It was the many times you quietly rose again after falling, the times you continued loving even after being wounded, the times you kept praying even when no answer seemed to come immediately. All of these things formed the strength now growing within you. For a just man falleth 7 times, and riseth up again. As written in the book of Proverbs, true strength is not found in never falling, but in the soul's ability to keep carrying light after every fall. My beloved child, what is happening within you is not an attempt to become someone else in order to be more accepted. I am not asking you to wear another mask. I am leading you back to yourself, the version of you I saw long before fear cast its shadow over your soul. The version that is not controlled by insecurity, that does not live to please others, that does not shrink its light just to make those around it feel more comfortable. I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. As written in the book of Psalms, you were never a mistake in need of correction. You are a sacred creation, slowly being uncovered from layers of fear so that your true beauty may finally be revealed. I see the light within you growing stronger, not the kind of light that is loud and constantly trying to prove itself. I did not call you to shine through display and performance. I am forming within you a steady light, like a quiet flame in the middle of winter's night, gentle, yet impossible to extinguish. There will be people who do not understand this transformation. They were familiar with the old version of you, the one who doubted easily, withdrew easily, and sought permission from others simply to exist. And when you begin walking in the freedom I placed within your soul, they may try to pull you back to where you once were. My beloved child, do not return simply because familiar voices are calling the name of your old self. There will be whispers trying to make you question the light I placed within you. They will tell you that you are not good enough, that you should wait longer, that you need approval from others before you move forward. But those voices are no longer where your soul belongs. They are only echoes from an old season that I am leading you out of. O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt, as written in the Gospel of Matthew? I do not condemn you for having doubted before. I know there were times when you were too fragile to believe what I already saw within you. But now, after everything you have endured, I am teaching you to live by the affirmation that comes from me rather than from the world. For the approval of people changes with emotion, circumstance, and personal interest. Today they may lift you up, tomorrow they may forget you entirely. But what I have spoken over your life has never changed, even once. You are rising not because of pressure to become more perfect, but because the light within you can no longer remain hidden. There are souls in this world who need what I have planted within your life, the gentleness refined through pain, the faith matured through silence, the peace that no longer depends upon circumstances. And I will use the very things you once considered your greatest weaknesses as the places where my strength will shine most clearly. My strength is made perfect in weakness. As written in the second epistle to the Corinthians, do not fear walking in the light I placed within you. Do not make yourself smaller to fit inside the fears of others. Do not allow the past to pull you back into an old version of yourself simply because it feels more familiar. I am no longer calling you to live within the shadows of yesterday's doubts. I am calling you to walk as an awakened soul, not perfect, but real, not loud, but filled with light, no longer chained by fear, but led by my love. My beloved child, look at yourself once again through the new eyes I am placing within your soul. You are no longer someone dragged behind by the weight of the past. The things that once shattered you no longer hold authority over your life the way they once did. There was a time when a single memory could shake your heart. A single silence could fill you with confusion. A single loss could make you question your worth. But now, after all the long seasons of pain and transformation, those things are no longer chains around your soul. They have fulfilled their purpose. I did not allow you to pass through fire in order to destroy you. I allowed you to pass through it so that the truest part of you could be revealed. The misunderstandings you endured, the doors that closed before you, the long seasons of waiting in silence, all of these became a refining furnace where impurities were burned away so that pure gold could appear. And now you are no longer standing within the classroom of pain as a frightened child. You are stepping out carrying an understanding distilled through your very soul. When he hath tried me, I shall come forth as gold. As written in the book of Job, what I now see within you is not a soul destroyed by trials, but a soul refined through them. My beloved child, the most important voice is no longer outside of you. You no longer need to live according to the approval of others, nor constantly search for signs to know whether you are walking the right path. There is a voice growing clearer within you now, not loud, not forceful, but steady and full of peace. It is the affirmation that comes from me. Engraved within the inner being I have shaped through many seasons of storms. The kingdom of God is within you. As written in the Gospel of Luke, I am teaching you that true guidance does not come from the chaos outside, but from the awakening within your own soul. Can you feel it? Something is moving within you like fresh water, flowing through land once dry from fear and exhaustion. It is gentle, yet powerful. It does not force you, yet it continually draws you toward the light. This is the new life I am pouring into your soul, and this very flow is causing you to stop hesitating. Stop doubting yourself. Stop questioning whether you are worthy enough. For deep within, you are beginning to know what you once only hoped for. I truly am with you. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. As written in the book of Joshua, I do not speak these words to you as a beautiful slogan. I speak them because I know you are crossing a great boundary within your soul. You are no longer someone merely enduring life. You are learning how to live with purpose. And there is a profound difference between those two things. A person who only endures is simply trying to survive each day. But one who lives with purpose walks with the awareness that every breath, every choice, and every encounter carries meaning within. My plan, my beloved child, do not be surprised when you begin sensing everything around you changing. Perhaps you have not spoken much about it. Perhaps outwardly you still appear to be the same familiar person. But deep within, your soul has already shifted. And when what is within begins to change, the outer world starts responding in its own way. People will begin seeing you differently. Certain doors that once remained closed in silence will unexpectedly open. New connections will appear as though they had been prepared long ago. Not because you suddenly became someone else overnight, but because the light within you has changed the very frequency of your life. I have said, Behold, I make all things new. As written in the book of Revelation, that work of renewal does not begin with circumstances first. It begins within your inner being, when your soul stops living in fear, stops hiding behind old defenses, stops doubting the worth I placed within you. Then everything around you slowly begins to shift as well. Some relationships will naturally fall away because they no longer belong in the place where I am leading you. New opportunities will arise because you are now mature enough to step into them, and you no longer need to exhaust yourself trying to force everything into place. My life is flowing through you like a river that never runs dry. He that believeth on me, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. As written in the Gospel of John, my beloved child, I am no longer calling you to live by the exhaustion of your own striving. I am teaching you to walk by the flow of grace. There were seasons when you tried to force everything to happen according to your timing. You tried to prove yourself, to control outcomes, to outrun your fears. But now I am bringing you into a different rhythm, a place where you are no longer driven by pressure to arrive quickly, but by the peace of a soul that knows it is being guided. You do not need to walk in haste. The journey I have prepared for you is not measured by the speed the world admires. It is measured by the steadiness of each step. A tree does not grow by violently pulling its branches toward the sky. It grows by sinking its roots deeper each day. And that is what I am doing within you. I am teaching you to take each step with clarity, with trust, with faithfulness in the small things. For everything lasting is built slowly. My beloved child, do not underestimate your quiet steps. There are things you consider small, yet they are leaving deeper marks than you realize. A gentle word you speak, a moment when you choose patience instead of anger, your peaceful presence among those who are overwhelmed and restless. All these things touch the souls of others in ways even they themselves may not fully understand. He shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water. As written in the book of Psalms, I am making your life into a place where others can find shade, rest, and hope. Your true journey begins here, not because the years before this were meaningless, but because now you are walking with an entirely different awareness. Before, you ran because you feared being left behind. You searched because you believed something was missing within you. You struggled because you did not yet know who you were in me. But now your soul is beginning to remember, not through the memory of the mind, but through a deep awakening within your spirit. You are beginning to remember that you were never without purpose. To remember that I called your name long before you understood the calling yourself. To remember that, even in your most lost seasons, my hand was still upon your life. And once the soul remembers this truth, every step from this point forward is no longer a desperate search. It becomes confirmation. Remember the prodigal son. There was a moment in the middle of hunger and loneliness when he came to himself and remembered his father's house. It was that remembrance that changed the entire direction of his life. My beloved child, I am leading you into that same awakening. You are no longer living like someone cut off from their source. You are returning to the very place where your soul truly belongs. I am the way, the truth, and the life. As written in the Gospel of John, when you walk in me, you will no longer feel as though you are wandering aimlessly through life. Even when you cannot yet see everything ahead, you will still carry peace within you, because you know the one guiding your steps has never taken his eyes off you. My beloved child, there will be days ahead that will astonish you because of the changes unfolding around you. But do not fear them. Do not rush back to the old version of yourself simply because it feels more familiar. I am expanding your life so it can carry more light, more love, and more purpose. And what I have begun within you, I will be faithful to complete. So continue walking forward. There is no need to hurry, no need to prove yourself, No need to live in fear of becoming someone else. Simply remain faithful to the light I have placed within your soul. And then, step by step, your life itself will become a quiet imprint of heaven upon this earth, an imprint that will never fade. Because it is written by my very presence within you,